Welcome to the Practice Brave podcast. I am the host, Brianna Battles, founder of Pregnancy and Postpartum Athleticism and CEO of Everyday Battles. I'm a career strength and conditioning coach, entrepreneur, mom of 2 wild little boys, and a lifelong athlete. I believe that athleticism does not end when motherhood begins, and this podcast is dedicated to coaching you by providing meaningful conversations, insights, and interview topics related to fitness, mindset, parenting, and of course, all the nuances of pregnancy and postpartum. From expert interviews to engaging conversations and reflections, this podcast is your trustworthy, relatable resource for learning how to practice brave through every season in your life. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Practice Brave podcast. Today I am here with Adam Fuller, and he is a CrossFit Level 4 coach based out of CrossFit Thin Air in Colorado. He is an affiliate owner, and he recently completed the Pregnancy and Postpartum Athleticism coaching certification, which is awesome. So I'm really excited to chat with him today and just learn more about the work that he's doing at his CrossFit affiliate. So Adam, thank you for being here, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Like you said, it's just Adam Fuller, CrossFit Thin Air. We are out in Buena Vista, Colorado, so we're in the heart of the mountains, and we actually are in a garage affiliate. And so we have 400 square feet in our affiliate, and we're looking at anywhere from 30 to 45 members throughout the year. Our demographic is right along the alley of what we're going to be discussing today. So it's been fun to go through the course and bring it right back and put it right into practice. So thankful to have found the course and to go through it.
That is so awesome. So let's talk about the fact that you are operating out of a 400 square foot garage with that amount of members. That's awesome. How long have you been running this?
Yeah, my wife and I have been doing CrossFit for over a dozen years probably, and we've been in our garage affiliate for just over 2 years.
Okay.
We kind of bounce between different affiliates, working for other people and working for other great gyms. When the opportunity came up to, do this right here out of our house, and it kind of came right after we had our own daughter, and it was nice to be right on the other side of the door as she's waking up. We have our 6 o'clock class, and she'll come out and sit with us, and we kind of watch the tail end of that class, and then she's very much involved in that. So when we decided to go in the garage, it was just like one stall mat and then a bike. And next thing you know, it grew and grew and grew to now we have 4 classes. We put about 12 members max in our garage. So we get creative with dumbbell space, where are we going to put things. But it's been fun. I think when people ask us, are we going to grow? And it seems like the community really loves the size that we're at, and it's just a family feel. So it's been great.
Yeah, I love that. And it's almost like goes back to the grassroots of CrossFit as like a small group of people getting together in a tiny little space. And like I did CrossFit back when it was a lot more just kind of an underground-ish era, which sounds like probably around the time you started it too.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, to see the whole thing develop and change into different size gyms, and then, we do it how we originally did it. And we originally did it just on like our college wellness center, this very limited space. And we just like, oh, well, the workout says this, but we only have one of these. And so let's trade and be partners. And that's kind of how we built our gym around. So yeah, fun, grassroots for sure.
Oh, I love that. And I feel like that is what really develops coaching creativity too, is when you're limited on space and when you're limited on equipment. And there's a lot of value in kind of growing up in that system as a coach, but then also still facilitating that as you're running classes and memberships are growing, not to mention winter in Colorado, which I'm sure poses some changes to how you're able to structure aspects of your workout in your space.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, space and logistics, all the different scaling, all the different options with that many people in a space is, what's great is the culture has been built on sharing, hey, the 3 of us are going to share this rower, but you're starting on burpees, you're starting on rowing, and you're starting on that dumbbell move over there. Right. And then we're just going to trade when the other person's up. And so some days we get our own stuff, depending on what it is. And some days sharing and partner workouts. And The camaraderie around that kind of stuff has been great.
That's awesome.
Jim loves heavy days because it seems like it's a bond right at a barbell, and it seems like a social hour sometimes, but it's fun.
Yeah, that is the fun part of lifting, like in that kind of small group environment is it's just a lot more intimate and able to a little bit of social hour, a little bit of, hitting some PRs. And I feel like that's a great combination for anyone with a CrossFit brain.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. So you've been operating for about 2 years. How did you start to grow to the point that you're at now? You said about 40 members.
Yeah, I think over the summer we had a little over 40, and then as school shifted, we lost our high schoolers. So we dropped down to about 40 is about where we're floating right now.
Mm-hmm.
Our first day when we opened up, we had, I think there was 4 or 5 of us, and then those 4 or 5 brought some friends, and then they just kept bringing friends, and then word got out that, there was a gym that was tailoring to specific people. It's like our pregnancy and postpartum athletes. When we first started, we walked some members through that whole journey. And then word got out, and then we had 3 more people who were at that stage of their athleticism too. So it was fun to snowball from there. And then now it's just taken off to the point where we're like, oh shoot, do we add another class, or how do we can't expand anymore out of my house. So, but we'll see. We'll see what the next few years hold. But right now it's been such a journey.
Absolutely. You made an interesting point there. Like, you weren't actively recruiting pregnant and postpartum athletes, but that just starts to be the demographic that a lot of CrossFits and honestly just like gyms in general are attracting. It's not really a special population anymore. It's really common to see pregnant women in the gym and brand new moms and moms wanting to like really still prioritize their fitness, where that does not get put on the back burner like maybe it did in a previous generation. So it's cool that it seems like you've built up a membership base with a lot of moms without necessarily making that your intentional focus initially anyway.
Yeah. We didn't have to really say, we didn't have to put on a website, or I think we made a post one time, but having my wife come through doing CrossFit, before, during the pregnancy, and then recovering so well with it, we get a lot of those questions like, well, Julia, how does Julia do this now? And, just recently we have a 5.5-year-old. She's just recently hitting some of those PRs, whether they're run PRs, lifting PRs, gymnastics PRs, 5 years later. And that's been so awesome because we've said, hey, zoom out on the whole thing. Whether it's, pregnancy, or postpartum, is like, hey, zoom out on this journey, and it's going to look different. And when we have that perspective of, there's a lot more grace, and, well, I didn't hit what I used to. Like, well, we're different. Everyone's like, I never was 35 when I first hit those, and so this is a new version of me. And it gives people some space to be where they're at, and then next thing you know, they're focusing back on the technique, the form, and the slow growth, and then they're back to where they were, if at all, which has been awesome. So they see my wife in that journey, and then the next person, and the next person, and just grew. It's great.
I love, well, obviously I'm very biased, but I love hearing that because it does support what we try to talk about, right? Not just in the certification, but within the P&P brand of, this isn't just about pregnancy and postpartum. This is supporting a woman's lifetime of athleticism, knowing like it doesn't have to be rushed or maintained. Like you said, the element of grace there and focusing on the things that we can focus on at any given point. Maybe that's improving form or rehabbing or changing variables throughout pregnancy. But again, on behalf of maybe 5 years later, hitting these PRs and saying like, damn, like what a ride, like what a ride. Yeah. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is great. And we have somebody who was high caliber soccer player, and then she was with us. And so, having to, work through the athlete brain on those things. And, and when she came back, she was like, I'm ready. I was like, not yet. Like, I'm going to keep pulling you back, because coaching her before, during, and after. I knew when she came back, she's like, I'm ready for 5 rounds. We're going to do 3. We're going to do 3, and we're going to do step ups. And now she's so thankful that we have stepped back, and that's been the mentality, is slow, and we're going to keep moving. So.
Well, man, it sounds like they're really lucky to have you, and the perspective that you have, and honestly, that you're able to, I guess, like, work with that athlete brain and find some solutions where they still have buy-in. Because I think that can be really hard for a lot of coaches to work with that really like athlete brain clients. But in particular, I'm wondering what your experience has been like as a man coaching women, maybe women with really like intense athlete brains, or just through pregnancy and postpartum in general.
Yeah. It's been great having my wife as, like, ask her anything. and there's nothing I couldn't ask that she'd be like, oh, you can't really say that, I'd be like, hey, what if I did this, or what if we coached this? And that was before taking this course.
Mm-hmm.
So I had some of the, hey, try this. Okay, no, that didn't work, or that didn't feel right. And it was just a lot of asking questions to her. And then when we started gaining more pregnant and postpartum athletes, that's when I was like, I got to find a course, because we have, it's not just Julia anymore. It was other people, other pregnancies, everyone was different, whether they come in with very competitive, or, we have a couple moms who are no athleticism beforehand. So, right. So that's been great to go through that process and just take it at that rate. So, from my perspective, I've removed the barrier of asking a dumb question. Like, hey, how's that? What if we do this? How did that feel? And they're so thankful that I'm just open to answering the question. So, or asking the question.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that, I think that's like a fear that people have, is like, I can't ask that, whether they're like a man or woman. They're like uncomfortable kind of bridging that gap in some of these conversations. So I think that that's a story sometimes, and a narrative that we create for ourselves, more so than what the reality is of what our clients actually think. Like, if you can bridge it with some emotional intelligence and acknowledging, like, this might be uncomfortable, but, like, how's this feeling, or how's that? And, like, knowing they want to help you, and you've already built that rapport. So it honestly goes a really long way prior.
Yeah. And many of our athletes, we'll kind of see different trends in whether it's for a run or for a pull-up or something like that. And we're like, hey, how was it today? Right? And they'll ask the question. We'll dialogue back and forth after class. And they're like, okay, hey, next time this comes up, remind me. Let's try this and see if that works. Or while we're warming up, and when I'm going to say we're doing sit-ups, I want you to do hip bridges. Or, okay, we've been doing hip bridges for a little bit. Now let's do this. And so it's just me asking questions. I just have my athletes have been so gracious giving me feedback to maybe help the next mom, so that's been great too.
Yeah. Did you ever think they've
taken care of me?
Yeah. Did you ever think you'd be coaching so many moms as, like, basically growing up as like a CrossFit bro? Because I certainly never thought I would be coaching this population as like a bro.
Yeah. As a weightlifting was my background. My wife's a runner. That's how we met in CrossFit, doing that, blending those gaps. I thought, when I first started, I'd say that my target audience was most likely like aspiring athletes.
Yeah.
And like people who just wanted to lift more and do this. And then I got a couple of these moms, and I was like, man, this is fun, because it's problem solving, and everyone has a different, puzzle piece. And that's been the most rewarding, because I see my wife 5.5 years later after having Harper, and then seeing these moms and getting I'm feeling more and more confident in this move that I didn't think I'd ever be able to do this, and now I can. I didn't think I'd ever be able to do this, now I am. Had separation here, and now it's nothing. And I got these moms who are like, here's me in my, I'm wearing a swimsuit now. And I was like, sweet. To answer your question, I didn't think I'd ever get a text that said, I'm on vacation and I'm wearing a swimsuit I never thought I'd wear. And you're like, sweet. So I get to celebrate that. And I didn't think I'd ever do that.
Yeah, it's true. Like we're really able to measure progress a lot with that population and see like transformation mentally, physically, emotionally, and then support them during honestly, like it's just a really vulnerable time in their life. Like it's a big transition and it's not just pregnancy. And as you know, with being a parent, like it's not just the first 6 weeks or even the first 6 months, it's just ongoing evolution of who they are. And then you start to realize, like, maybe what I thought before about moms is not true. Like, these women are badass. Like, they're still athletes, they're still strong. And they also happen to be moms. So it doesn't, I feel like there's a belief system that we're kind of washed up after you become a mom. Like, you're not going to be as good as you once were. Your body is shot. Your performance is going to tank. But we don't actually see that. You know, like you and I, we see the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a mom, so the Leadville 100 race is not too far from us.
Mm-hmm.
Big, crazy trail race. And had a mom defer one of her last after her last kid. And she ran it again. And it was just seeing her finish with both of her kids now. Like, that's the new version. And like, had another one who never, like when she signed up, she's like, I don't run. And then she ran a trail half marathon and finished, and all of her kids were there. And you're like, in the confidence that got it, like do that. And yeah, you're still incredible. And this is you now. So
Yeah.
yes, the confidence has been so fun for me, Coach.
Yeah. It's cool. It really is cool seeing people accomplish performance goals because I do feel maybe like similar to you when you started out coaching, wanting to work with like athletes and performance that, you know, that was maybe more limited in my view back then was a lot more limited to like a younger population. But now I feel like my whole belief system around performance has changed because it's not just ending at 25. It's 30, it's 35. It's what the 50-year-old clients are doing. It's supporting this lifetime of athleticism and seeing like there's no cap on it. Like there's no cap on potential and being able to discover new things. You're seeing moms in your community who had never run, who are now doing like trail half marathons because of course, what else do you do in Colorado, right? Like that's just
why not run up the hill?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like definitely a big part of the culture. But as you know, what we see in the endurance community is the gap between women and men closes a lot. Like they are keeping up and performing at a very high level, similar to men. They're able to go, like their endurance capacity is huge. So there's a lot to unlock in multiple facets of athleticism, not just necessarily CrossFit.
Yeah, absolutely. Seeing it carry over, you know, train here in the gym, play out there. And the mom that had run this half, the first day she came, there's no way she would have been able to carry her kids up this flight of stairs. And I remember there was our kids shared dance class up this flight of stairs, and she scooped 2 kids up and like chucked up the stairs.
Yeah, it's a really rewarding population to work with, and something I tell people is like, it's not really a special population. I think we used to think that, but as you and I are seeing as coaches that have been in the game for a very long time, like this is the majority of people that are coming to us, like coming to CrossFit affiliates, coming to as clients to personal trainers, group fitness. If you look in any of these environments, a large majority of people there are women.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm right next to me is our class sign-in board, and you know, I could go down the list and be like, mom, grandma, mom, dad, you know, mom. Like, you just go down the list, and it's most of my people are in this group, and they're definitely not a special population for us. And every class has a mom in it, and now I'm getting more grandmas, which is also cool.
Like it's so cool, right? Isn't it so cool to see like honestly, men or women really get involved in CrossFit or lifting or any kind of fitness and sport as they age, as they experience perimenopause, menopause, aging, and, you know, kind of combating a lot of the diseases that are oftentimes associated with aging and more of a sedentary lifestyle. We're able to get ahead of that really early on. And sometimes I feel like, at least for women, pregnancy and postpartum, maybe parenthood in general for both moms and dads are these catalyst seasons where it's like, we can either opt into, I'm not an athlete anymore. I can't do this. I'm 30 now and my back hurts. Or we can say, I'm not washed up. It's not over. It might be a little bit different, and how I approach this might be different, and what I get interested in might be a little bit different, but that doesn't mean that our future is filled with pain and disease.
Yeah. Yeah. With the athletes coming in now, I think they feel the sense of, I need this more.
Yeah.
In my 20s, being a little bit more competitive in the sport is like, this is fun. Like, how many days can I do in a row? How hard can I go? And now we're seeing the functionality of, man, I really need to be able to pick up both kids and go up the stairs.
Yeah.
Or I have a mom with a little one, and the little one's quick, and she's got to get on the floor and get back up. And I'm like, hey, there's some burpees there, and the why behind the reason they show up, especially for my moms or my older athletes, is like, I want to be able to do these things. I want to be able to chase my kids around. I want to not be ever limited on something physically.
Right.
Even my dad's, if you ask a lot strong more, we're like 35, 40, 50 years old. Like, I want to keep up with my kids in soccer. I want to always be able to play with my grandkids. With these moms, it's like, I want to feel like I can't, like, if my kid says, hey mom, you want to come go for a run with me? I can say yes without hesitation. I don't have to worry about, well, I should probably, do this, I have to wear this, and different aspects of it. They can say yes. And with the confidence that comes with being able to just say yes, I mean, that gives them freedom to be them. And those are the things that people will do anything for, is that freedom to just be authentically who they are whenever they want. And that's that fitness that they're looking for. So
absolutely. It kind of goes back to like what CrossFit was founded on, of just like introducing fitness to more people and making it really accessible and showing what we're still capable of. I think that CrossFit empowered women a long time ago to get into strength and kind of owning that we can be strong. And now we're seeing that in that older population. My mom started CrossFit when she was in her mid 50s and had never touched a barbell. And it took like my sister and I saying like, Mom, like, you are going to be at risk for like osteoporosis because you are a tiny human and you don't lift weights. Like, you really need to do this. And, she's just, she is so CrossFitty now. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
We laugh like, but she's like this little badass who can crush it, like rope climbs, deadlifting so much weight. She competes in the open every year, and she's 66 now. And just, you would never know that. Her lifestyle is not that of what maybe we've traditionally thought of 66-year-olds, but right. It just shows like it can start at any time, and there's still this like unlimited potential. We can unlock a lot of layers of potential within our clients.
Yeah. So many of the things that we learned in this course were used for all of our athletes, when it comes to just core, thinking of like the different principles of position. We used to say breathe and brace a lot before a lift. Breathe and brace. And then, especially going through this course, and then we've had a pelvic floor PT come in, and, we have dietitian who comes in and helps out with certain things. But now that we're all on the same page, it seems like those cues from a CrossFit coach perspective can be that short and actionable. And yep, I know where I need to be. So
yeah. That's and for those of you listening, there's a principle that I teach in the coach cert. It is called the PNPA principle, and it's a really great way to kind of break down what we're looking at. Like, what are we kind of like assessing it, but not just in an assessment, but in a real life movement situation. How are they breathing? Where are they? Like, how much tension are they generating? Where is that tension being held? What's their pressure distribution? What is the position or form adjustments we can make? And then how does it apply to the movement that they're doing? And so we're like looking at these 5 different variables, and it's very important for the pregnant and postpartum population because those variables really affect core and pelvic health. But as Adam was saying, like, it is very much applicable to any human that we're working with. Every human has a pelvic floor. Every human can benefit from making adjustments to a lot of those variables. And we just haven't really been taught that as strength conditioning coaches, as CrossFit coaches, as personal trainers. We are not taught to look at those variables. We're taught more to look at like rep schemes and percentages and just bracing, like lifting heavy. Here's the best brace, but we're not taking into account the physiology of the human in front of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've been able to apply that with the men you work with and people who are not moms, and it's been a pretty helpful, I guess, coaching philosophy and strategy to apply.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, with most of my athletes being moms or even, non-moms, and it's been great to go through the course and for scaling aspects of it. And just like, here's a new idea that I didn't think about, right? It's, the workout says toes to bar. This person doesn't have that. So what's a good still thing that we can get them in a good position? We can focus on the right core activation. So taking those tools of scaling and modifications into there. And the other thing was like some of those psychological things too, of like coaching to the athlete in their need right now, whether that's because of this external stress, this athlete has this, even this male who has a new job, I got to coach him different and making sure that I'm balancing that. So definitely been able to take things from that course and apply to nearly all my athletes. I think when we took the CrossFit Kids course, and it's like, great, I don't coach very many kids anymore, but that same like, hey, point your elbows like a laser. Like my adults are like, woo, 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 woo. Like it's like, hey, it works still. So this course, it didn't help just my pregnant and postpartum athletes. It helped the whole program. My other coaches, two of them are moms, and one of them's not a mom. But it's so great for them to hear the same thing. And we're just constantly recycling this information to whatever class, whatever demand is on the board. So,
well, that's, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely appreciative, and I really love that even without trying to specifically work with this population, like you're just a great example of showcasing that this is the majority of people that are walking into our gyms that are interested in training and that are most importantly, like trusting us to guide them. Like they are investing their time, their money, their body in hoping that, they are in good hands, that coaches that are willing to learn and invest back into them. And I think, you clearly are doing an incredible job of that.
Yeah. I think the thing that we had some athletes who came in early and they came in pregnant. They're like, I just found out. And then like, we were the first thing. They were like, now how can I keep doing the thing that I love to do now that I have this information, whether it's my first or fourth? That was, hey, it's great. Here's our experience with this. This is my wife, and we've coached this. And meet this person here. They've just had theirs, and right. And we just kind of go through, and that reassurance of like, this is a place that I can be safe and be still myself, and still, create some new health metrics and just take care of themselves throughout the whole process, before, during, and after. So it was great.
And I feel like that makes you even more marketable in what I assume can be like, CrossFit can be a saturated community, and the fitness community in general. There can be a lot out there. And I think this can also, it's a really great way to differentiate, like, this is the skill set we have, the knowledge we have, the population we are prepared to support. And it can help in that capacity as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something that I don't think we'll ever, we make Instagram posts on the athletes that we help out, and that happens. But I think it's just our members, carrying their kid on a hike on their back, and they're like, great. Yeah. Hey, I go here.
Yeah. That word of mouth.
So that organic word of mouth has been great, but also it just seems to flow naturally with our members. I just love that they're able to do the things that they always wanted to do.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And then just, moms are great about talking and sharing and referring, like you're so good about that they are the ideal population for scaling your business, because they talk, they refer. And when they like something, they don't really shut up about it. That's the great part.
Yeah. I love my mom's classes. I used to have a class that was just moms, or primarily moms, and it was fun. We definitely ran off of our timeline a lot, but that's okay.
all the chit chatting, right? Oh, that's so awesome. So tell me, like, what do you have on the horizon? You're looking to scale, kind of stay where you're at, you said? Any exciting things on the horizon for you?
You know, the size and space of our facility, having a 5.5-year-old right on the other side of the door is something that's so important in my priority list that I don't plan on moving out of this space for a while. So size and scale is just the potential to add more classes as they become available. However, the priority to be present with my family and be present with my daughter is more important than the growth of my business. And I think as those priorities have been so solid here, the growth of the business has just naturally happened. And so next for us is, we always focus on finding ways to challenge our fitness. And we put random events, running events usually, being from Colorado, and we like to run in the mountains. And so the next one is we're going to celebrate my wife's birthday with a sprint triathlon, because how else would you celebrate your birthday? So yeah, but no, we just have, we have more things coming this winter. We're going to do a strength class, which has been something that we've wanted. And now that the Colorado colder temperatures are around the corner, we're going to close the garage door and fill it with a bunch of people wanting to learn about some weightlifting. So we'll see.
I love that. And I think it's a really awesome example of being able to coach in the capacity that makes sense for the season of life that you're in. And more importantly, like the lifestyle that you want. That's why, like, I know everyone, they can look at you or they can look at me and be like, you guys are so busy. You got a lot going on, but like, I love it. Like this works actually really well for the lifestyle dynamic that I want. And I think coaching is, there's a really great opportunity to cater your coaching to the lifestyle that you want. And then you've built a community that is also within that like mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. When we have, homeschool our daughter. And so I get to coach my morning classes. I get to do the workout at the 8:15 class with all my other moms, and then, go inside and teach. And then, next thing you know, we have soccer practice afterwards, and the gym shows up to Saturday morning soccer games just to celebrate each other and our family. And it's special. It's special. And when I'm not in a position or in any desire to change the routines of that. And I love it. I love what I get to do. And I'm so glad that I get to serve this group and do it with my family in mind.
Yeah. There's something to really be said for finding like contentment and fulfillment at the same time, like just really feeling grateful for the life that you've been able to create and the lives that you are most heavily influencing, which is your family, your little girl, and the people that you get to interact with weekly. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been great. Love it. Won't change it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing about your coaching, the CrossFit gym that you're running, and just like the special dynamic of it. I think it's really, really cool. And I'm so grateful. Where can people follow you or learn more about your affiliate?
Yeah. CF Thin Air is where you can find our Instagram at CF Thin Air. And then that's our website too, cfthinAir.com. You can check us out, and we'd love to connect on Instagram on garage affiliates and coaching moms. And if you're out there wanting to know questions, have questions, we'll answer them as best you can, or as best as we can, and steer you right back here.
Awesome. Well, Adam, please also extend my gratitude for your wife for helping maybe inspire a little bit of this conversation.
Absolutely.
And to all of your clients, they are so lucky to have you. Thank you for being an incredible PNPA coach and for carrying that on and being a guy that cares. It does mean a lot.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Practice Brave podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please leave a review and help us spread the work we are doing to improve the overall information and messaging in the fitness industry and beyond. Now, if you are pregnant and you are looking for a trustworthy exercise program to follow, I have you covered. The Pregnant Athlete Training Program is a well-rounded program for pregnancy with workouts for each week that are appropriate for your changing body. That's 36 weeks of workouts 3 to 4 workouts each week, and tons of guidance on exercise strategy. We also have an at-home version of that program. If you are postpartum and you're looking for an exercise program to follow, the 8-week Postpartum Athlete Training Program would be a really great way to help bridge the gap between rehab and the fitness you actually want to do. From there, we have the Practice Brave Fitness Program, which is an ongoing strength and conditioning program where you get new workouts each week and have a lot of guidance from myself and my co-coach, Heather Osby. This is the only way that I'm really offering ongoing coaching at this point in time. If you have ever considered becoming a certified pregnancy and postpartum athleticism coach, I would love to have you join us. Pregnancy and Postpartum Athleticism is a self-paced online certification course that will up-level your coaching skills and help connect the dots between pelvic health and long-term athletic performance, especially during pregnancy and postpartum. Become who you needed and become who your online and local community needs by becoming a certified pregnancy and postpartum athleticism coach. Thank you again for listening to the Practice Brave podcast. I appreciate you. And please help me continue spreading this messaging, this information, and this work.